Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 214 of the Terminal City FC podcast. Josh Ray joined alongside Nathan Dirk as per usual. We're live on the Area 51 Sports Network official Twitter and Terminal City FC YouTube, and of course, listening on demand wherever you get your podcast. Happy New Year, folks. It's a new year for football, new year for us, and it's a World Cup year. It's going to be a big year for football all around the world. I had a really good holiday with my family and all that. Got a lot of cool gifts for Christmas, including a mini 2026 World Cup ball, which is in my room. And I played a lot of FC 25, and my Chelsea team is currently top of the league by 20 points and scored over 100 goals halfway through the season. I mean, what more could you ask for a great holiday? Oh, yeah, and I got this shirt. This is the official Philippines third jersey, of the goalkeeper jersey, rather, for the national team.
That's awesome, man. Holidays for me were quiet. Stayed close to home. Went to the island just after Christmas for a bit of a holiday. Again, good Christmas with my family. My daughter, her Christmas presents are still taking up half our house. I didn't have as much luck because I'm not an EA Sports guy. I'm a football manager guy. And this year's version, after they took the year off and tried to reinvent themselves, just didn't work. It's not a good game. So
that's what I've been hearing too.
I think it's going to be another year where I just don't play.
Yep. So now that's out of the way, we got some Whitecaps moves to talk about since during the holidays. The big one a couple of days ago, Ali Ahmed has been sold to Norwich City. There's no official disclosure of the fee, but it's being reported it's about £1.4 million. And my first takeaway is surprised that it happened now instead of after the World Cup, but it looks like Ahmed really wanted this move. And I guess, first of all the best to him. Sucks they couldn't keep him for another 6 months, but Ahmed is now a Norwich City player.
I expected this. I was a little bit hesitant. I think back to earlier this season when it was a post media session, and we were asking him a question. I think it was with a Canadian Championship, and we were asking him about whether or not he would be able to keep this on next year. And he looked at everyone and went, "Next year?" And I think he was thinking himself rather than the team. And it made me realize right then, like, this is already happening. Now, when they traded Jayden Nelson earlier, right after the season was done to Austin, it made me take a bit of a breath. Maybe they are going to be able to hold on to him for that year. But I figured that the interest in Ahmed was going to be too much, especially after, Hamburg was interested in him in the summer.
Something like that. Bundesliga 2 team.
Honestly, good for him. Norwich City for years was kind of like one of those yo-yo clubs between the Premier
the elevator club of England
and the Championship. They're on hard times this year. They're actually sitting in the relegation zone in the Championship right now. Now, with Ahmed coming in, from everything you read at Norwich City and kind of how they understand, it sounds like they want him to slot in to that starting left wing.
I feel like that's the plan
right away.
Yeah.
So they expect him to start. And it from what I'm getting from Norwich City fans is cautious optimism. They don't know a lot about him. Obviously, not everyone in England really follows MLS, and we know that. But from what they've seen in him, especially when you look at like the first 24 hours, they're happy with what they have seen with a very, very limited sampling size. It's going to matter. You're going to have to wait for games. You're going to have to wait for games, and you're going to have to hope that the Ollie that we know shows up for them.
Yeah, and I got Norwich City fans telling me in my Twitter mentions that they're confident they won't get relegated because they had a really bad start under Liam Manning.
Yeah.
But since Clement arrived, it seems like the ship has steadied a bit, though they did lose their last game to Stoke 2-0.
They're only 1 point in the relegation.
Yeah, 1 point. So there's still hope that they could survive. And Clement's system was what I looked at. It's a similar formation and a very similar tactical setup quick transitions, high pressing, using wings to exploit the wide areas. Maybe less possession, but it's very similar to Jesper Sorensen's.
Yeah. The one thing it sounds that universally what they want on the wing is speed.
Yeah, and Ahmed
He
brings
and
that
Sony can
speed
take
immediately.
1v1s. We know Ali Ahmed can do 1v1s. I mean, his running style, his gait, it's so unconventional that defenders have a very hard time, marking him. His speed is going to be something that he has to catch up. But he was impressing people so far, especially with that beep test. I don't know if you saw that, but apparently he was in a higher percentile than most.
Yeah, and in MLS last year, Ahmed was one of just 2 players apparently to record 10 plus open play assists, 30 plus successful dribbles, and 125 plus touches in the opposition box. The other player was a guy named Lionel Messi.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm sad to see him go, but if he was going to go at any point in his career, 25 years old, this is when you do it. Honestly, you almost do it 1 or 2 years before this. So I hope that he excels, and I hope that he shows Norwich City exactly what he is capable of. Now, the rumored transfer fee was about 1.4, 1.5 million.
Yeah.
My hope, and something that the Whitecaps usually do, is that there's usually clauses in there for sell-on fees.
There is a sell-on
things
clause.
like that. So
But
you're hoping that there's something within that as well.
Yeah. And yeah, it sucks to see him go. And obviously, this is now the time to do it, because 25 years old in his prime, regular for the national team, it made sense. And his rise has been nothing short of like meteoric in a way. Signed as a free agent essentially for Whitecaps FC2, WFC2 Player of the Year. Slowly made his way into the first team to become a starter. I remember his first year he was like a wingback essentially under Vanni Sertini. But
yeah, he was. You're right.
Became one of the Whitecaps' best wingers all season, and he brings some experience to Norwich because they don't have a lot of players under 25, maybe like 4 or 5. Josh Sargent, the U.S. striker, is one of them, and they could potentially have some chemistry.
You hope so. Now, he's going to get a little bit eased into Norwich City's system. Their next game is this Sunday, FA Cup 3rd round, where they're going to play Walsall. Correct me if I'm saying that wrong.
I think that's
Canadian
right.
pronunciation. You can screw me if you want. But they're League 2. So, a couple of divisions below where Norwich City sits right now. Hopefully that gives him a little bit of time to get himself that gameplay and understanding of the system that Norwich City wants to play.
Yeah. I feel like this could be a good fit for him, and especially if he helps to keep Norwich City in the championship, because it would not look good for him to play in League 1.
No.
At all.
He doesn't deserve to play in League 1.
No,
with
he's too good
Ali,
for League
championship is a good level.
Yeah, I always figured a league like the championship would be good for Ali Ahmed. And, I mean, this is an opportunity he couldn't pass up, as he says in the press release. And the Whitecaps, when a player wants to leave or feels like there's a better opportunity elsewhere, where they don't hold him hostage. They let him go.
That's been Axel's kind of motto since the very beginning, right? Like, if you want to go, they'll try and help you get there. They're not going to shoot themselves in the foot. They're going to try and find the best deal possible, not only for the player, but for the club.
Yeah.
This isn't bad. This isn't bad, especially when you got to think, like you said before, we got Ali on a free.
Yeah, it was basically a free.
Yeah.
And he has a chance to improve his stock for the World Cup. Right now, he's like undroppable by Jesse Marsh, but if he does well in the championship, could possibly be starting the opening game of the World Cup in Toronto in June.
That left-hand side is all going to depend on where they use Alphonso Davies, right? Is he a defender or is he an attacker?
Yeah, we'll figure. That's another story for
that's a whole other thing.
Another day. So Ahmed and Nelson have been sold. Very quiet on the Whitecaps incoming front, but you got to feel that Axel Schuster and Quinn Thompson are cooking up something, and they prepared lists, and they have a list of targets. It seems like another natural winger is needed.
Yeah, the only other signings that we've really had have been from the Whitecaps' second team.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mikhail,
Those don't really count.
Germeskinov.
Yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it.
He's come up, and I'm trying to remember the other player too.
That other
Name's
kid.
escaping me. Germeskinov is a player that we've been watching for a couple of years that we expected to make that jump. But yeah, you're going to need, especially because you're losing Nelson and Ahmed on that side. Now, the one thing is a healthy, 100% healthy Ryan Gauld fits there.
Easily plays the left side.
That's exactly where he's going to play.
All right.
You're going to have White at the top, and then you're going to have a line of 3 attackers behind him in Gauld on the left, Mueller in the middle, and Sabi on the right.
Yeah, don't forget Kenji Cabrera too.
But
Cam and
you're starting to look a little thin in terms of wide players on the wings. You're going to need to bring in someone, and I'm hoping that they're not looking for depth. I'm hoping that they're looking for someone that will challenge.
Yeah, someone that could, provide competition. Because right now, Emmanuel Sabi starts that right wing side.
That right wing side is his. He made that his in the latter half of the season.
Yeah, but someone that can challenge Sabi, Gauld, Cabrera, and even Thomas Muller.
Yeah,
I prefer it to be a natural winger. There's rumors about a potential under 22 signing, but there's also need for another central midfielder because they're also quite thin there. I'm going to actually bring up the depth chart. Someone just who can do the job essentially. Now let me just trying to find the depth chart. Here. Share screen. Yeah, so it's quite thin. Kubas, Berhalter, Badwell, and Liam McKenzie.
Yeah.
Mainly because Priso will now be used as a center back according to Ashel Schuster.
Yep. That's true. Now you got to. I think center back. It's kind of funny because last season that was the area that was so threadbare for so much of the season. But you got to think now with Sean Lau and Poupe, them healthy. You got a lot of players in that position, so I'm not worried about that as well. I do wonder about the left back position, and that's mainly because I just don't know about Adekube.
His health.
Yeah. So that is one question for me as well. I like the idea of Lumi as a backup to White. I think that's good. You also have Pierre that will be able to slot in there as well. But yeah, there are a little bit of holes there. The other thing I'm also looking about is just with how well the Whitecaps did last season. You're not looking to solidify that position. You're looking to expand on that position, and that's a very tough thing to do. You're talking about fine margins right now, and you've lost a very key component to that in Ali Ahmed. So
yeah, a natural right winger and a natural CDM is the needs right now, and it sucks to lose Ahmed and Nelson, but just. For me, losing Nelson kind of stings more now that Ahmed is gone.
That's just it, right? Like with Ahmed gone, you got to think that Nelson would have slotted very nicely into that position, and it would have been
he would have gotten way more minutes
on there. But again, I also understand Nelson is he wants to play game in and game out, especially when he's fighting. He's one of the kind of those fringe guys on the national team side. So if he wants to not only be on the team but get minutes on the team, he needs to be playing.
I believe players report back in a week or so, or in a few days. And then they head to Marbella for their 3-week preseason /training
Which we
camp.
have not heard if any of those games will be on, YouTube or anything like that. We're hoping that it will happen, but
and just now that the Whitecaps have a main core, like in the past we talked about, we need to add like a game changer here. Here and there, but this time, we need some more depth for that right wing and central defensive midfielders. Not like guys who are fringe guys, but guys who can challenge the starters. So that's what's next for me for the Vancouver Whitecaps.
Yep.
There's still time to do it, but time's ticking.
Absolutely.
All right, so Canada Soccer announced their quote-unquote camp routine January roster. Too bad they can't do this in Montreal, to really live up to the name. But,
yeah, right.
Weather this time of year in Montreal kind of permits that, doesn't allow that in a way. Here's the roster, which includes 3 young Whitecaps, Jeevan Badwal, Ryan Alumi, and Ralph Priso.
Yeah. Jaden Nelson also, I guess, formerly a Whitecap,
Yeah.
is here based on his Whitecap appearances as well. Some interesting names there. Noah Abatena with Atletico Ottawa is an interesting pick, also from the CPL, which is nice to see. And a few others. This is the North American
MLS, CPL.
The North American domestic players, not the ones playing over in Europe as well. So that's where we get to see a little bit of this mix, a few new names, kind of see what we get there. I'm happy to see Zoran Bissong back in. I liked the limited minutes that he got with the men's national team last year. I'd like to see more of him. That's the name I'm looking for. Another name that we haven't seen in quite a while was Kamal Miller.
Yeah. I remember he scored that banger here in Vancouver back in September.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was called up for the last window, but we really haven't seen him in a while. And a lot of new names, some returning faces like Jonathan Osorio. It's basically just a tune-up. There's going to be a friendly against Guatemala at LAFC Stadium, BMO Stadium on January 17th. Yeah, and it will count towards the FIFA Men's World Rankings. So, this is just a chance for the staff to take a look at who they could potentially bring for the World Cup. These are mostly fringe guys.
Yes.
It's really nice to see, someone like Jeevan Badwal and Ralph Priso, Ryan Alumi get, the nod for Canada. And for those wondering that Alumi plays for the Tunisia under-23s, not cap-tied. Yeah, so you could still decide to make a switch.
Yes, very true.
And also Jason Russell-Rowe, Columbus Crew. I haven't seen him a while in the men's national team setup. Good player with good speed and agility.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Canadians made some moves other than Ahmed this past few weeks.
The biggest one is the goalkeepers.
Both goalkeepers are now in Florida, and they will see each other often, and they could literally compete with each other for the starting spot at the World Cup. Dave Sinclair signed as a free agent with Inter Miami.
Yeah, he's going trophy hunting.
Yeah, he's going to play with Lionel Messi, no pressure. And, Miami, the rich get richer, the reigning goalkeeper of the year. He's going to be under a lot of spotlight. Contract at the end of 2026 with a option for the 2027 season. And honestly, with the team Miami has, it's like a huge opportunity to prove he can be the number one in the summer for the World Cup. And Max Crepeau joins Orlando. And Orlando needed a goalkeeper since Pedro Galice went to Colombia. And natural successor, and Crepeau gets minutes.
That's what he needs. This is the move Crepeau needed.
He was not getting that in Portland, thanks to James Pantemis starting over him.
Yeah.
And I thought Crepeau would go to Toronto, but...
I was wondering. I kind of had that wondering as well. But, Toronto's looking in a different direction. Toronto's been making some big moves as well. Zimmerman just signed as well. So they're... and you know what? Good on them. I think Toronto is tired of being a bit of a laughingstock the past number of years as well. They want to get back to where they were before.
Yeah.
They're finally taking themselves seriously. They have a group taking them seriously because they hadn't been for a while.
Yeah. Orlando, too, fell off last season. They were a constant top 4 team last few years prior. 9th. Lost in the wild card round to Chicago. And Crepeau gives them a chance to get back into that top 4 conversation. He gets minutes. And another chance to prove that he can start in the World Cup.
I
So
think that's the main thing is he needs to prove himself to a few people, let alone himself, right? Because
yeah,
I don't think he's fighting just for a men's national spot side. He's fighting for a bit of a domestic career right now. He's one of those goalkeepers that I think kind of lost his way over the past couple of seasons,
yeah,
and he needs to find a home.
yeah. I mean,
We
thing is,
thought was it, but no, he needs to find a permanent home, and let's hope
yeah,
Orlando's it.
Orlando is the permanent home. Funny because St. Clair does well domestically. Has his struggles with the national team. Crepeau not getting minutes domestically or struggling with his domestic side. Does well with the national team.
Yeah. Here's one that surprised me a little bit, or at least in my view, kind of came out of left field. Jacob Schaffelberg going to LAFC.
Yeah, for a bunch of gam. So Schaffelberg hasn't really been on the best form. Hasn't really.
He had a tough year.
Yeah, hasn't been as good as he was at the Copa America, especially with the national team.
Yeah.
This is a chance to further, get his form back and prove himself, and with better players to do it with. Danny Bouanga.
My only question is how much game time is he going to get at LAFC?
Yeah, that's the thing. They could move Danny Bouanga to the right because he can't play the right.
Yeah.
And put Schaffelberg on the left, or a wild card move Schaffelberg to the right.
So where are they playing Son? Are they playing Son up top, or are they playing him in behind in like a Thomas Muller role? Because I'm used to seeing Son on the left.
Yeah, but Son has been playing up top since
he has. And I do wonder at this point in his career, maybe that's where you play him because you don't have to worry about his legs as much.
Yeah, and he seems he likes playing up there.
Yeah.
So, Schaffelberg joins Matthew Chenier as the other Canadian. Sure. And he hasn't really been called up to the national team in former Whitecap Thomas Hassau.
Yeah.
So, I feel like it will be the battle between David Martinez and Jacob Schaffelberg for that second winger. Bouanga on the left, Martinez on the right. Son up top is what they've been going at last season. But with Mark DeSantos now in the helm, I wonder if he kind of changes things up a little, like moving Bouanga to the right.
It's very possible, yeah.
Yeah, and this is good for Schaffelberg because he has a chance to boost his numbers because his numbers aren't that high despite what he brings. So, another chance to prove that maybe he can start on that right side, or right or left side for the Canadian men's national team. But it'll be hard to bench Ahmed or Dejan Buchanan at this rate. He really needs to put up great numbers to do that.
Yeah.
So, yep, that's the Canadian setup. Players making moves 6 months before the World Cup. And back to Vancouver. This one came out of left field too.
This one stings.
I think just yesterday.
This one stings.
Really stings. First, Lisa Pechersky, and now Samantha Chang has left the Vancouver Rise to pursue opportunities elsewhere.
The Rise have lost a number of players. A lot of players that were on the fringe of the side, but 3 big players. Lisa Pechersky, as you mentioned, Jasmine Spencer earlier on, and now Samantha Chang, who basically captained this side for the last half of the season when Shannon Wooler went out injured. Absolute marshal of the midfield. 4 goals, 4 assists, I believe, in the season. Out of the kind of 4-3-3 they kind of played, 2 of their main midfielders are now gone.
Yeah, and Rise haven't really brought in anyone.
No.
Yet.
So I hope there's something going on in the back, but 3 players like this was big. And I think this one, Jasmine Spencer, I can understand. She's American. She might be looking to go back to the NWSL. Used playing a year with the Rise to kind of, rise her stock a little bit. Pechersky kind of hurt, but I don't think I was as surprised. Samantha Chang kind of
this one is probably the most surprising,
and this is one where I have to think the front office would have fought to try and keep her.
I have the feeling that there is this opportunity broad that
I do wonder. She had played previously, I believe, in Denmark.
Yeah, she has.
Yeah. So I mean, if you do get a better opportunity to go, elsewhere.
I mean, given the year she had, like despite missing the first few games.
Yeah, she started the season injured.
Yeah.
But yeah, Samantha Chang, no longer with Vancouver Rise, but will be remembered for captaining that inaugural championship.
Yeah. The big presence in the midfield too. Like she was an excellent leader, and sucks to see her go. But Rise need to bring in some reinforcements. Still a lot of time though.
Speaking of reinforcements, it's the silly season, January transfer window in Europe, and Chelsea.
It's been quite the holiday for Chelsea. So Enzo Maresca is no longer the Chelsea coach. He has been sacked / left by mutual consent. Of course, form played a big part of it. 1 win in 7, but knowing Chelsea, there was it wasn't just form. Maresca was not happy with the club hierarchy, and he had falling outs with the medical staff, the sporting director, and majority owner Bedad Iqbali. And it's to no one's surprise he wanted a big say in the transfers and other stuff. He wanted a center back in the summer.
He's an old school manager that doesn't want a sporting director, right? He wants to be the coach, the sporting director, run the club, right?
In a way, kind of, but...
Which I get, but you got to find yourself a situation where that works, and Chelsea is never going to be that situation anymore.
It used to be that situation, but not anymore.
Well, every club used to be, but that's not the modern football club anymore.
Yeah, well, he didn't specify who he wanted as center back, but he asked for a center back. Instead, he got Garnacho and Gittins.
Yeah.
Remember the whole Mike Maignan situation? Sure, Robert Sanchez does well now. It was reported that when they suggested, we might bring in Mike Maignan, he said, yeah, do it. Didn't happen. I'm sure that ticked him off too.
Yeah.
And then here's more here. The medical staff told him recommendations, such as subbing a player off at a certain time, but he often didn't listen, or he's subbing off a player when he was fit, like Cole Palmer against Bournemouth, when he didn't look too happy.
See, that's one that I can understand.
That one I can understand too.
Like, you gotta listen because if your medical staff is telling you this player cannot play that's their job.
Yeah, and then another thing where many sources tell reputable outlets like ESPN and The Guardian, the higher ups were telling him to play certain players more to increase their value.
Yeah,
and pretty much were suggesting him and recommending him to pick the team and make the subs. I understand why he'd be ticked off there. He's the manager. Not Winstanley, not Stewart, not Iqbali. He picks the team.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
Because he's the one that's going to be judged on that.
Yeah. And then apparently remember he said was the worst 48 hours at Chelsea after the Everton game. That was the beginning of the end. Because I feel like that's when the bust up between him and Bedad Iqbali started.
Now the thing is he's going to land on his feet. I have a feeling he's going to be very highly sought. It's going to be interesting to see where he lands and also how much time he takes to find his next position.
Yeah, he's been seen as a potential replacement for Pep Guardiola should Pep leave Man City at the end of the season. Makes sense given his connections there. He's even linked to the vacant Man United job, which would be even worse.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
And he's been linked to a potential Juventus move, which also he has connections there because he played there.
That one I can see. I can't see Man United. I could see Juventus.
Juventus or City. Though I think if Pep does leave, City's next manager would be Vincent Kompany. This really sucks because Maresca was building something special. Even though he had his faults. Conference League, top 4, Club World Cup, exceeded expectations last year in a way.
Yeah.
But no, Iqbali and the sporting directors decide, all right, we're going to continue with the stockpile all the kids and see which ones we can sell for max profit. Because
they're winning this basically to maximize shareholder value, and that's it.
Like I said before, Egbali is running this club like an investment firm, which is clearly capital, an investment firm.
Yeah, like he doesn't care about the sporting side. He cares about making money, which I get. You have to make money in order to be sustainable,
But it doesn't work on a club like Chelsea.
it also doesn't work in sports when you're only successful if you're appealing to your fans. And sure, Chelsea is on the top half of the table. They're fighting for Champions League, but there's so much dysfunction there that the fans, they're not stupid.
Yeah, there's a big protest planned for January 17th, the game before Brentford, against the sporting directors and Bedat Egbali. There's a quote surfacing back to 2022 where Egbali was talking about how he wanted to run Chelsea. The warning signs were there. He admires the Brighton model. He said, "We think there's a path to controlling labor costs and still producing a winning product using data, using the multi-club system. Brighton presents 10% of the Chelsea payroll, wins almost as much, and is a very stable, mid-market, mid-table, profitable club." Mid-market, mid-table. That's how Bedat Egbali wants to run Chelsea. Not a Champions League competing club, not a title-winning competing club. Mid-table, Brighton level. And then he also said that same conversation. Chelsea was not terribly well managed on the football side, sporting side, or promotional side. And by the way, Chelsea have no shirt sponsors still.
You know what this is? This is like someone who's doing an MBA that confuses confuses value for cost.
I will say Bedat Egbali has to be like one of the worst owners in football and the worst owners in sport at this rate. Oh yeah, Todd Bowley, sure, he does have some part of the blame since he's chairman, but let's not forget he owns only like 13%.
Yeah, but he's the guy. Yeah, he's the sort of guy that comes into any sort of business, sees it as bloat, cuts everything, thinking that you're going to streamline things, but then you realize you cut everything that was good.
Yeah, and by the way, Tuchel fell out with Egbali.
Yeah,
Pochettino fell out with Egbali. Bowley has even fallen out with Egbali, and now Maresca. Goes to show that if you keep falling out with people, maybe it's not them, it's you.
Yeah, exactly. He's the common denominator.
Yeah, and there's a reason why Bowley, I think there's a reason why he's taking a step back. We haven't heard or seen from him around Chelsea in months.
No.
Maybe he's trying to figure out some funds to buy Egbali and clear Lake out. That's just me coping. I don't really like this guy. Does not know how to run a sports team or a football club. At least Bowley has experience with the Lakers and the Dodgers, who, by the way, are the reigning World Series champions. But this season was a huge missed opportunity after winning the Club World Cup, having the gold badge. Could have made some big signings to, really prove that, champions of the world, let's go and win stuff. But no, it had to sign Nacho and Gittins and Buonanotte.
Yeah.
And could have signed Victor Osimhen, but instead signed Liam Delap. Don't want to pay his wages. Could have signed Michael Elise last year. Didn't want to pay his wages. Pedro Neto instead. So I get wanting to have a wage structure, but you got to pay players what they're worth. And game changers deserve over $200K a week.
If you want to be a club that's run like Brighton, you have to expect that you're going to be a mid-table club.
Yeah.
Like Brighton. You might have some good years where you're a little bit higher, some where you're a little bit
Brighton.
lower. But you're going to be a solid mid-table Premier League club, and that's going to be your lot.
Your ceiling. That's the
what you want.
ceiling.
Great. But that's not what Chelsea is.
Chelsea should be. Chelsea should be a title-winning club.
Yeah.
And a Champions League contender. And Paul Wood Stanley, Lawrence Stewart, the sporting directors, they're Bali's puppets, basically, very much. And they just listen to everything he says. And because Bali has been reported to micromanage and stick his nose into things, while Bowley doesn't really like doing that.
Right.
So, yeah, the big problem at Chelsea is Bedat Egbali, who is pretty much the Iranian Francesco Aquilini.
Yeah.
And the new manager is Liam Rossinier, the Strasbourg manager. which is no surprise. Another young manager with elite potential who they see as a yes man, essentially. 5.5-year deal. Whoop-de-doo.
Strasbourg hierarchy and Strasbourg fans are
They are not happy.
yeah.
And
They're
Chelsea,
basically being told you're basically Chelsea's feeder team, which I
They
hate
are.
to say it. Now they are.
they pretty much are.
Yeah.
Luke
And
Cole
they've
is
been having a
100% safe.
decent year in Ligue 1.
I mean, there's like 6th or 7th. That's like
Yeah.
great for Strasbourg standards.
Yeah. This is going to this could really derail their season. And they brought in what, Gary O'Neill?
Yeah. And the Chelsea hierarchy, they don't care.
No, they don't.
Strasbourg's just their little cow. They get
You
milk.
got to think, like, if you are an up and coming manager or a player, you're not looking at Strasbourg
No.
as a place to a career. You're looking at it to go 1, maybe 2 years, grow your value, and move on. That's it.
Move to Chelsea. Yeah,
that's
Strasbourg.
all Strasbourg is now.
Yeah. I mean, Strasbourg always has been that, but now they're basically Chelsea's feeder club.
When you're your own person or your own entity, you have that opportunity to be something else. They have absolutely no opportunity to be something else.
At least
like
the Red Bull clubs
way.
get to be themselves.
That's true. Yeah.
And the other clubs in the City group. But
Well, Red Bull's whole thing is everyone has to win,
yeah.
right? Which is fine. That's good. It's
a 6.5-year contract, not 5 for Liam Senior.
Yeah, 6.5. It's the Chelsea way.
Yeah, Potter signed a 5-year deal, and Maresca signed a 5-year deal. But
You also got to think, like, for as much as this manager has done, he's untested at this level.
yeah, Senior's another. He could be good one day, manager. And
Does Chelsea want a he could be good one day manager, or do they want a manager who's good right now? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
they want a guy who he could be good one day. That's what Maresca was. That's what Potter was.
Yeah, but it's easier to control.
Yeah,
If you're a guy that's hell bent on controlling everything, yeah,
Like
this is the
Bernardo
move for
Wally.
you. But I don't know if it's the move for the team.
Oh, by the way, to make things more comedic or like poetic, Senior ended his playing career with Brighton and was a Brighton assistant coach.
There you go.
So his managerial career, Derby County interim, Hull City for 2 years where he got sacked, and now Strasbourg, then Chelsea. Now imagine this under Roman Abramovich. Never happened.
No.
He tried to go for Zidane,
Oh, absolutely.
but
And if Zidane said no, he'd just send a couple of Russians after him.
yeah, or find the next big name that's available.
Yeah.
So it's clear that Chelsea are going nowhere with Bedotic Bali and the sporting directors with the way they're running things. They can either change the model or Bali can leave and go buy Brighton since he loves them so much. But the latter is not happening, and Chelsea's season has pretty much been lost at this point. Top 4, sure. I'll try to win a trophy. Any one of them to salvage the season. We won't forget, but at least provide some kind of joy because it's been misery. It's crazy to think. Maresca was the November manager of the year. Chelsea were second at the end of November, and they beat Barcelona 3-0.
Yeah.
Time flies, huh? So Senior will not make his debut today when they play Fulham. The interim coach, the under-21 chubby Irish guy, Callum McFarlane, will be in the dugout again. Because on the weekend, he did well against Man City, drew 1-1. Did help that City were wasteful and poor, but Enzo Fernandez's late equalizer pretty much sealed the point for Chelsea.
Very late in stoppage time, right?
Yeah, and Arsenal fans were celebrating because it puts them closer to the title.
Yeah.
Despite Palmer, Joao Pedro, and Pedro Neto being poor, Callum McFarlane against Fulham today. So Ibali out, Clear Lake out, Todd Bowley. Pretty much most Chelsea fans would rather have him run the show because he doesn't like to get involved as much. And at least Bowley wants to sign big names because remember he tried to sign Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar, but Tuchel blocked those moves. So Chelsea continue to be a mess. And for Tottenham, they're still a mess as well.
Oh, it's been a rough holiday season. 2 points picked up in the last 5 games. A couple of draws in the last couple of matches. But a lot of these were or should have been very, very winnable games. They got another one today against Bournemouth. I'm hoping to get back to winning ways, but Thomas Frank has to be one of those guys that is a game or two away on the hot seat. The fact is that it's been boring to watch. Tottenham should not be a boring team. They should be a team that kind of you're not too sure if they're going to get blown out, but they should not be boring. That should not be a word that's used when describing Tottenham.
Yeah, Spurs are boring to watch.
It is boring. Yep. Number of moves happening. They've loaned quite a few players out to different sides just to get game time. One of the interesting ones, that South Korean phenom that they brought in, Yang Min-hyuk, he had been playing actually for, I can't remember which team, but it was a team fighting a relegation in Championship, but they weren't playing him. Well, Coventry wanted him. So they recalled him, sent him to the team that's, winning the championship.
Gets to play under Frank Lampard.
A team that's fighting relegation didn't want him. A team that's blowing the league out of the water did. So, easy change. Other than that, a bunch of other players, Jamie Donnelly, Kota Takei, they've both moved onto different loans with Oxford United and Borussia Mönchengladbach, respectively. The one player that Tottenham is really fighting to bring in right now, which is interesting because I thought they would have been going after like a Yan Diomande or something like that, or an attacker. They're looking for a left back, and they're looking at Brazilian Santos side and their player in Sousa. They had an £8 million offer denied, but they have come back today, which looks like between about a 13 to 15 million pound offer. Player wants to get this done. The club is willing to accept it. It looks like the thing that's really the sticking point right now is the sell-on clause. The club, Santos, wants a good sell-on clause if Sousa ends up moving on from Spurs later on down the road, which it feels like this is going to get done. It's just a matter of time. Other than that, like I said, Yan Diomande with RB Leipzig, this kind of seems like the guy they want to bring in to replace Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson
Right,
left very
Crystal
early
Palace.
transfer window to Crystal Palace for £35 million. Yan Diomande is
replacement.
significantly more than that, and he is a hot commodity right now. We're looking at 100 million euros possibly for this player right now. We'll have to wait and see. Other names that could fill in that position, Savinho, Man City. That is another name that's come up, a guy that Tottenham was looking at earlier. If Man City does bring in Savinho,
it seems like that's happening.
It does seem like that's happening. It does look like Savinho could be the odd man out. He might be available. They're also the one guy that Tottenham's data and analytics department is really, really harping about right now is Club Bruges' Christos Zolis, a young Greek player. I believe he had time in the Premier League with Brighton.
Probably, I don't know.
Check
that. If he played for Brighton, Chelsea should be after him.
But he's done really, really well, and he is a player that, like I said, the data department is trying to get the recruitment department to look at right now.
No, he played for Norwich.
Norwich. Yes, that's right. That's right.
When they were in the Premier League.
When they were, yeah. Couple of players are sparking interest to possibly leave Tottenham. Radu Dragusin, player that's kind of been on the fringes, really hasn't played a whole lot, as sparked interest from AS Roma in Italy. The other player is Mattis Tell, who
barely played.
Brought in, he's barely played, and he's actually been really, really frustrated with.
Makes sense. You're barely played.
There could be a loan in the works with Galatasaray. We'll have to wait and see if anything goes up there. Manor Solomon was recalled from his loan, and he was sent immediately right away to Fiorentina in Italy. Yeah, it does feel like this is going to be done. There's an option to purchase later on. If he shows himself and does well, I think Tottenham's not going to have a problem with that, and he is 1 foot out the door already. The other thing is Tottenham is really looking for a goalkeeper.
They need any goalkeeper.
I don't think that they're happy with Vicario. Vicario can be good, but he can make some absolute boneheaded moves,
which we've seen many times this season,
that just leave you wondering exactly what's happening. Right now, the possible target is Real Madrid's Andre Lunin.
Yep, they're
25, 26-year-old goalkeeper that's obviously, doesn't get a lot of playing time, could move over to Spurs right now. I honestly, like I said before, I'd rather see them play Klinsky.
Yeah.
Right? You brought him in from, I believe it was Slavia Prague. Play him. He did okay when Vicario was injured last January. Get him some game time. Because right now, Vicario, I don't believe, is the answer either. Like I said, Bournemouth today, Tottenham is sitting in the bottom half of the table. I believe they're in 13th. A win could possibly move them up to 10th. They need to start racking up wins because right now, Frank, his career is on the line, and it should be.
Yeah, I feel like it's only a matter of time if
he's on the bubble. Nuno Santos at West Ham is on the bubble. There could be some big managerial changes when you think that Chelsea and Man United are already, looking for managers as well.
Yep.
You could have 20, 25% of the teams in the league looking for managers at the same time.
Yep. Like Tottenham could be on the verge of making a managerial change too. Speaking of managerial changes, this one, only after a month, Wilfred Nancy has been sacked by Celtic because of a bad run of form.
And the last game was the Old Firm.
Rangers, that's a game that won. Yeah, they're third in the Scottish Premiership.
Yeah.
Which is nowhere where Celtic should be. And Nancy got the boot.
And you know what's the ironic thing? He got the boot just after Columbus hired a brand new manager.
Yeah, because he could have just
gone right back, right?
Yeah, if they fired him a day or two earlier.
Yeah. This sucks for many reasons. One, Celtic was not a good situation to go in the first place.
It was a big risk.
Massive dysfunction right now. Look how Rodgers left, right?
Yeah.
Very acrimonious.
They're bored. Fans are throwing stuff at them bored.
Nancy has, let's call it, an interesting tactical setup that was not going to suit Celtic.
Yeah.
And 3, this makes MLS in general look bad.
Yeah, because
hey, this is yet another guy from MLS
who failed at a top
like the creme de la creme that we thought could do really well that failed, and it's another reason for Europe to turn their nose up at MLS.
Yeah, because while there are some certain players that have done well moving on from MLS to Europe, like Alphonso Davies, managers, not so much, and Wilfred Nancy is one of those cases. Somebody tweeted that the Christmas tree lasted longer than Wilfred Nancy. Yeah. I think my Christmas tree being up lasted longer than Nancy's time at Celtic.
He's going to get a job. Now, the thing is there was also a lot of interest in Nancy from France. Obviously, that's,
I thought he'd go there.
So I do wonder if he might be looking at some of those opportunities in France. And but you got to wonder how much did he take a bit of a hit to his reputation with this?
Yeah, big hit. And Martin O'Neill returns to Celtic,
and he's now going to be there to the end of the year.
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah.
In terms.
We can talk about Man United. We just had he has left. Now it does look like they're not looking for a manager right away. They're looking for a caretaker manager, and
it's going to be that what's his face.
Well, it's between Michael Carrick and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
That's for the permanent job, but they do have an interim right now.
No, these are the guys to be the caretaker, as being reported by BBC right now.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be we're going to have to see.
Yep. I don't know. Unlike Maresca, this one was a manager that should have been fired months ago. Ruben Amorim. Of course, we could talk about the issues Man United's ownership and board have, but Amorim, very stubborn, refused to go away from the 3-4-3 formation, even though when he did, he'd go back to it right away.
Yeah.
was just, out of his depth tactically. Not sure what United's setup was supposed to be. Playing players out of position, being stubborn. Hey, and
he also seemed like he was just trying to pick a fight everywhere.
Yeah, and he seemed happy that he got the boot, given that he was on his walk and he waved at the cameras.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where he goes. I don't think he goes back to Portugal.
I think he...
but I think he goes back to kind of the European mainland. I think he's done in England for a bit.
Yeah, I don't... He's did a... Remember, before he was hired at Man United, this guy could be another world-class manager. Even Chelsea really did.
Phenomenal.
He did phenomenal at Sporting.
Yeah.
But England is not the Portuguese league.
No.
It felt like instead of progress, Man United went more backwards than they did under Ten Hag.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunately. I think was Radcliffe, who's the guy, kind of the chairman there right now.
Yeah, INS. Yeah, he's the chairman.
I mean, this is kind of on him as well. This was his guy, so he's got to get it right with this next one. Yeah, and by getting it right, I don't mean get a manager that's going to win the league. I mean a manager that's going to right the ship, and you got to give him the reins behind the scenes a little bit.
Yeah, and get him the players he wants. Like Amarim, let's bring this up here. Actually, look at this record compared to.
Do you remember how long it took before he got, what was it, back-to-back wins?
Like a year.
Yeah.
He only did it once. Look at it. He was worse than David Moyes at Man United. 31.9 win percentage.
There you go.
And look at these managers since Alex Ferguson left. None lasted more than 3 seasons, I believe.
I do think for this caretaker, they bring in Solisar right now. Michael Carrick, I mean, he's been there as I think an assistant before, but
yeah,
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But
Solskjaer really wants to come back.
Man United they have to realize their reality now. And
they're not a big club anymore.
For about 15 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're there yet. I think they're still living.
They're not going anywhere under this current ownership group, just like Chelsea are.
Interesting reports. Mundo Deportivo is reporting that Robert Lewandowski, currently with Barcelona, we know that he's kind of got a foot out the door there as well. Apparently, he's leaving down a number of Saudi Arabian Pro League sides with an eye to MLS. And we do know that there's been rumors long-standing with Miami, with San Diego. So we'll have to wait and see which sunny beach he ends up on.
And no, he's not going to Vancouver because the Whitecaps have no GP spots left.
Yeah, not that sunny beach.
Yeah. Chicago Fire have been linked with him, too.
Sorry?
Chicago Fire have been linked with him.
Really? That's interesting.
That's what I've been seeing.
See if
BBC last month tweeted that.
Right.
They put Lewandowski on the discovery list. So it looks like the Fire have his discovery rights.
Now, we're going to wrap it up with a story that I think I've been really happy to report almost every year for about the past 2 years because this keeps going on. The Gordie Howe of soccer. Kazuyoshi Miura. He's a 58-year-old Japanese pro soccer player. He first started his career in 1986.
With Santos.
He was signed for his 41st pro season with Fukushima, who I believe plays in the J3 league.
Yeah, he's on loan from Yokohama FC.
Yeah.
Because he's been on loan from Yokohama FC since 2005.
58 years old. Not bad, huh? I can still make it.
Yeah, maybe I could have be a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And play a wing for Chelsea. I don't know. 58 years old and still playing football. Incredible.
You see this, I mean, obviously this guy's got a number of years on me, but I mean, he's got more gray in his beard, and just the fact that he keeps going, I love it. I kind of keep an eye out for him just to see, like, is he going to do another year? Can his knees actually survive? Like you got to think like once he finally retires, the first thing that he does is knee surgeries.
Yeah,
Complete
and you know when his senior career began? 1986.
That's what I said. Yeah, I mean, like I was
Sick.
6 years old.
Yeah, it was minus 14, and it's still crazy that he's on Yokohama's payroll for the last 21 years now.
Right? Good on him. I love watching that. I love seeing guys like that being able to make it done. And this is the point where you realize this guy is just playing because he loves it.
Yeah, for the love of the game, because
Right.
why not?
He's going to be buried in his cleats.
Yeah. Oldest professional footballer in the world. Only footballer to play 5 separate decades.
He's played quite also a lot of other players as well. He actually began playing in Brazil with Santos.
Palmeiras.
Has played in Italy, Croatia, Australia. I remember like while we were watching this and watching him play, I was like he got older and older and older. He actually played in Portugal.
Yep.
So yeah.
And apparently he is the second leading goal scorer in the Japanese national team's history behind Kushinige Kamamoto, and he hasn't played for the national team since 2000, the year I was born.
There you go. He did actually play for the 2012 futsal World Cup, though.
Yeah,
he
6 years is a one goal
sometimes as well. But a nice little story to wrap it up on.
Yeah, and he's won a bunch of stuff too, so it's not like this guy was just coasting around.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and he was the 1992 Asian Footballer of the Year. So that'll conclude this week's episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Back in the grind from the new year. We'll be back next week. Follow me on Twitter, Joshua00, Nathan and Derek. Podcast at Terminal City FC. Check out the YouTube, Instagram. Yes, I will post more. This time, I will post more videos because that's the New Year's resolution for this podcast. And check out our articles for Area 51, Sports Network. I'll probably do like a prediction, like who my World Cup squad is for, right as of now, sometime in the next few days or weeks. And Nathan will obviously do more articles on any White Cap stuff that comes up. And if you're a business, if you own a business, if you know anyone who's a business, email us at terminalcityfcpodcast@gmail.com for a potential sponsorship. We'd love to talk to you. So that concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.